Hello. Theatrhythm Final Bar Line, a Nintendo Switch game, is now out and is now very playable in the Nintendo Switch and in PC. So if you don't have a Nintendo Switch, but have a decent PC, but want to play this game, then this is the perfect video tutorial for you to watch because I'm going to teach you on how to set it up, how to get the game, and how to run it and optimize it to run in PC. So what you need is that you will need to have all these files here that I have in my desktop, the firmware, the keys, and the Theatrhythm Final Bar Line in NSP file format, and that you install the latest build of Ryujinx emulator. As of recording this video tutorial, the latest build of Ryujinx is 1.1632, and this is the public version. And I'm going to be hovering down. And as you can see here, I have already played Theatrhythm Final Bar Line, and the game runs 60 FPS, and the game runs day one, and it's perfectly well. So, for those who do not know what is Ryujinx emulator, Ryujinx emulator is an application. It can play Nintendo Switch game and emulate Nintendo Switch game into your PC as long as you have installed all of these files here into your Ryujinx emulator. Because Ryujinx emulator alone cannot play Nintendo Switch games without this file. So first of all, I'm going to teach you where to get Ryujinx emulator and install them. To do this, just open a web browser here and just type in Ryujinx emulator and hit search. And once you are in Ryujinx, in the search result, the first one is ryujinx.org. Click on that and then go to download. And then if you're using a Mac device, then you can download it, but it should be in Mac OS 11 or later version. And if you're from Linux, then you can download the Linux installer here. And if you're from Windows, just like me, you can download it here. The download and installation process is really easy to do and very straightforward. It just takes seconds, but I'm just going to skip this part here because just to save time. So I'm going to assume that you have already downloaded and installed Ryujinx emulator. And if this is your first installation, please do run the emulator now, boot it up, and you'll be met with certain errors saying that you will need to install certain files into your Ryujinx emulator in order for it to play Nintendo Switch games. So what are those files? So basically, these are all the files needed. And these files are the Nintendo Switch firmware and the Nintendo Switch keys. And these files should be in version 15 for it to detect and play Theatrhythm Final Bar Line. And that game should be in an NSP file format or XCI file format so that Ryujinx emulator will be able to detect and play that game. So if you're asking me where to get all of these files, legally speaking, the only way that you get all of these files is that you own a Nintendo Switch, which is modded and has a custom firmware installed in it. Because if it has a custom firmware installed in it, it means that you can access your Nintendo Switch system files. And once you have access on that system files from the Switch, all you have to do is just copy all the files from the firmware and all the files from the keys and transfer them into your PC. And in order for you to get Theatrhythm Final Bar Line, there's no other way, but you should buy the game and you should own the game and have it digitally back it up into an XCI or NSP file format, just like mine here. So if you don't own a Nintendo Switch, or if you have a Switch but don't know how to mod or install a custom firmware and do the things that I have said, I'm just going to save you that hassle and teach you where to get all of these files. In order for you to get all of these files here, I'm just going to leave a QR code here wherein you can scan it with your QR code reader into your mobile phone so that you will be redirected to the download page wherein you can download all of these files here. So once you are in approms.com in the website, just hover down in the middle part of the page. Therein, you can download the NSP file format of Theatrhythm Final Bar Line. And to download the firmware and keys file, all you have to do is hover down in the bottom part of the website so that you'll be able to get all of these files here. So be sure to check out the entirety of the website in order for you to download all of these files. And once you have a copy of that into your mobile phone, just transfer them into your PC, okay? Because that's really easy to do. Just connect them into your USB port and then transfer those files into your PC. So I'm going to assume that you have already downloaded all of these files and that you have a copy of it just like mine here to my desktop. So the next step now is to install them into your Ryujinx emulator. To do this, all you have to do is just go to File, go to Open Ryujinx folder, and then open System folder here, and then open this keys zip file here. And then all you have to do is just drag and drop and copy and paste these files into that folder. This folder should be empty because this is your first installation. Closing that. And the next step is to install the firmware file here. To do this, all you have to do is just go to Tools, go to Install Firmware, install a firmware from XCI or zip file, click on that, and then look at your firmware. Once you have located, click that, and then hit Open. I will say that you'll have to install this firmware, then hit Yes, and it will say successfully installed. Now your Ryujinx emulator is now fully capable of booting up and playing Nintendo Switch games. You'll know that it is successful because it will detect your Nintendo Switch games and it will show you the game icons for that games, okay? So if you see a black icon, that means that you are using an old firmware or an old keys from the Nintendo Switch. So be sure to use the latest one. So be sure to follow all the steps that I've shown you because all the files that you'll get are the latest version. So what's the next step now? The next step now is to optimize your Ryujinx emulator so that it'll be able to play Theatrhythm Final Bar Line with no issues at all with perfect performance. To do this, all you have to do is just go back to Options and in Settings, and in this part, all you have to do is just pause the video and copy my settings. So be sure to copy what you see in the screen, okay? So in the game directories, this is where you'll put your Nintendo Switch games, and it should be in XCI or NSP file format for Ryujinx emulator to detect and play that game. Now go to Input. Here it is better to use a controller rather than using mouse and keyboard because it's really hard to use a mouse and keyboard in playing Nintendo Switch games. So to do this, to configure, go to Player 1, Configure, hit Configure, and then detect your Nintendo Switch Pro controller. And then you can just map it up accordingly here. So if you don't have a Pro controller, you can use your PlayStation or Xbox controller here. And again, you can map them up according to your likings. And the dead zone should be set into 0.20% so that there will be no drifting in your playthrough. So once done, hit save. Now go to System, just pause the video again, and just copy every settings that you see here. Now in the graphics tab, this is the most important part, so be sure to follow everything, okay? Graphics backend multi-threading should be on, graphics backend should be in Vulkan API, preferred GPU is your dedicated graphics card, and in the enhancements, you should enable shader cache and enable macro HLE. The resolution scale should be in 2x resolution so that the game will look much sharper and much more beautiful than the native resolution of the Switch. But if your PC cannot handle this resolution scale, then you can just change them into the native resolution, okay? But for me, I'm using 2x resolution because my monitor is a 1440p monitor. And isotropic filtering should be set into auto, and aspect ratio should be set into 16:9. And once done, hit apply and save. Now your Ryujinx emulator is fully optimized to run any Nintendo Switch game such as Theatrhythm Final Bar Line game. So a little bit of disclaimer, I'm not going to show you a gameplay of Theatrhythm Final Bar Line because we all know that Nintendo is really strict on this kind of content and they don't want it to be shown in the internet because we all know that Nintendo really hates Ryujinx emulator and user emulator showing and playing these games into this emulator in PC. So if I show you a gameplay of Theatrhythm Final Bar Line using Ryujinx emulator, then my channel will be taken down and my videos will be taken down. So to save myself from that hassle, I'm not gonna show you guys, and I hope you guys do understand all that part. But in this video tutorial, I'm willing to show you a little bit of boot up of Theatrhythm Final Bar Line in the title screen of the game, but I'm just gonna blur the screen so that Nintendo will not be able to hit me with any copyright strike in their video games. So I hope you do understand on that part. So this is a proof that the game is booting up and runs perfectly well. And the game will run 60 FPS with no issues at all. All the audios in this game when you play and all the graphics does not have any issue or any graphical glitches and bugs. It does not contain on that. So as long as you follow all the steps, then you'll be able to play this game perfectly well. So here we go. So again, I'm just blurred the screen here. It's now booting up in the title screen of Theatrhythm Final Bar Line. So it's here now, the title screen. So I'm just going to stop the emulation now. And that's the proof that Theatrhythm Final Bar Line runs perfectly well with Ryujinx emulator. So as long as you follow all the steps, you'll be able to play this game. Now, for those that have any questions regarding the installation process of Theatrhythm Final Bar Line, just leave a comment in the comment section below, and I will try my best to answer all of them. And please do subscribe to my channel. This will help me out. Thank you for watching. See you next time, and goodbye for now.